Welcome to the Fill Your Cups podcast.
We cannot believe we are on our 5th episode already. If you've gotten a chance to listen to the first 4, please take a minute right now to share your favorite episode with someone you think would benefit from it. Seriously, grab the link and send it to them now. It takes less than a minute of your time and it helps us get the message out.
Yes. In this episode, Morgan and I will be looking at different goals that we set at the beginning of the year and see how they're going, as well as looking at what goals we can set for ourselves for the second half of the year. We will have 5 specific categories for you to set, and we're going to give you our goals as well as some ideas for yourself within these categories.
Yeah, and at the end of the episode, we run through our best tips for maintaining our goals. So be sure to listen all the way through the end of the episode and feel free to share your own goals with us on social media at Fill Your Cups Podcast.
Let's dive right in.
Okay, Bailey, what you drinking?
This morning, I'm drinking some ice water. Just a nice cold ice water, refreshing in the morning. What are you drinking?
Yeah, I've got a cup of coffee, also because it's the morning, and it's got my regular splash of almond milk, a little bit of stevia in there. It's my go-to.
Best coffee order.
I usually put, you know this, I put a little bit of cinnamon, like, in the grounds before I brew it, so it's also a little bit cinnamony.
Ooh, that is so smart to me because you just get the extra pizzazz and the extra taste.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it.
I love that. Well, this week I had a huge thing happen for us at work.
Okay.
We were able to secure this huge job, and they literally told our owner that one of the reasons that they went with us instead, even though our price was higher than some of the other competitors, they went with us instead because we had the most reviews.
Ooh.
And we had the most recent reviews, and there was just way more of a portfolio to look at as far as reviews go.
Oh, wow.
So my owner was telling me this. He's also my boss because I'm in charge of getting all the reviews. So it was just a huge, exciting, uplifting thing for me to hear. And I was like, this is so cool because reviews make such a difference. You feel like it doesn't. You feel like it's just wasting your time, but it makes a huge, huge difference. So we just wanted to shout out anyone who has already left us a review. We are so thankful for you guys. You are slowly but surely helping us grow and just really affirming what we need to hear sometimes. And
Definitely.
So we also wanted to say to anyone that hasn't left a review yet, now is your sign to do it because it does make all the difference.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys got that business.
It was so cool. I was very glad too, and I was really proud of myself. So I was like, I should talk about this week.
That's awesome. Maybe I should make a goal for the rest of the year to be leaving more reviews for things that I really love.
You should. You just know that when you are leaving reviews, the people who are in charge of getting them get that email and they're like, yes! It's never a forgotten thing. It's never a not exciting thing for those people in charge of getting those reviews.
Probably filling their cups.
It really does.
Honestly.
It really does. Because wow. Because people don't like to leave them. So if you were just the person who left reviews, such a small but impactful thing.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, maybe I'll add it to my goals for the rest of the year since that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
I know we noticed somehow, I don't know where it popped up, but I had seen somewhere that we were almost halfway through the year, or actually I think it was because I noticed that one of my goals that I've kind of been tracking, we were getting close to, what would be half of 365? 182.5. So I knew we were getting close to that amount of days in the year. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we might be halfway. And when this episode hits, it'll be July 1st, which is also a Monday. So it's just all aligned exactly halfway through the year, Monday, July 1st. So a great time to check in on any goals that we had already set or maybe adjust or create some new goals for the second half of the year.
Yes.
Because we got 6 months to go.
We do. And that is so much time to make a change.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I
Make
love
it great, you know?
Yes.
So I feel like a lot of us set goals at the beginning of the year, but by the time this time rolls around, we've forgotten them. We're like, oh yeah, what goal? Oh yeah, I was going to work out. Oops, or oh yeah, I was going to start cooking more. Oops, or I was going to call my mom more, whatever it is. So I'm excited that we're going to be diving into this a little bit today.
Me too. I love setting goals, and I feel like specifically since we started our podcast, I feel like I've been really goal-oriented and really habit-oriented because that was our first episode and just things like that. So I am pumped to do this episode.
Yeah. I actually think that that's scientifically has something to do with your brain chemistry. When you take action on something, it promotes you to keep that going, you know? So I feel like whenever you act on something, like when you finally launch the podcast or whatever that little thing is that you wanted to do, then you're like, all right, I'm going to do it all.
Yes, you're like, I'm on top of it now.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I know we don't want to go into burnout, so we'll talk a little bit more about the how-tos of this. But you had a pretty good kind of outline of some areas, sectors of life that we could focus on setting goals.
Yes. So we are going to be looking at 5 categories of goals. If you already had a goal in this category from 2024 at the beginning of the year, we want you to reflect on that and adjust it as needed, like Morgan was saying. If you didn't have a goal or the first one you had kind of didn't work out for you in this category, change it up. Figure out a new goal. Now, we're also going to be looking at how we can achieve this goal with that small intentions and really setting those mindsets up and kind of how to put these into production. So our first goal that we're going to go through is a physical goal. Maybe it's a goal that you really want to achieve for your actual body this year. Maybe that is going on a walk once per week. Maybe it is doing a hair mask every month. Maybe it's just adding a veggie side to your dinner every night. So we're going to kind of be looking at those physical goals. So start thinking about those while we tell you ours.
Yeah, and we want to reemphasize that these can be small things that are achievable, and so you can celebrate them and continue stacking up on them later on if you want to.
Yes, like if you don't go to the gym, or if right now you're only doing a little bit, it's not going to be achievable for you to say that you're going to go to the gym every day.
No.
It's just, so don't even set yourself up for failure there.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. So my goal, this is like, I always feel a little embarrassed when I talk about this, but I feel like it's important to be transparent. But I have... You know this. I have struggled in the past with drinking and not really being able to keep up with how much I'm drinking, especially in a social setting. For me, I can go a whole month without drinking, but then as soon as we get to a wedding or a bachelorette party, which I've had lots of in the last couple years, or just some kind of social setting, birthday party where
I was going to say especially a celebration.
Yeah, where I get a lot of energy from people around me, so I'm just really, excited and not really paying attention to how much I'm drinking. I have this difficulty where I lose my memory, and it's so sad, and I hate the feeling the next day when I wake up. What's it called? It's like shame hangover or something like that?
Anxiety hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually
something
just call
like that.
Anxiety.
That's it.
Yes. Which I suffer from, girls. So
yeah. So I always wake up the next day, don't feel good about that, and I just realize that a lot of it is that I'm drinking too much too quickly, not drinking enough water, and not eating like appropriately in between drinks, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I always hate the feeling the next day of not knowing how I got to bed or whatever. I'm really lucky because my husband often he's always there whenever I never do this when he's not there because I don't trust myself. But when he's there, he will take care of me, get me to bed, whatever. But at the beginning of the year, I was like, this is ridiculous. I am almost 29 years old. I do not need to be blacking out. This is insane to me that I'm consistently losing my memory. So I started a little countdown, and this will be part of our tips later for how to apply these goals. But I started a little countdown on my bathroom mirror, and I literally just have a little underline that says blank days since blackout.
Yeah.
And I started it on New Year's Day. And it's been going really well. It's definitely a physical goal that I want to keep up, and I feel like I'm getting better ideas of where the line is, I guess, with my body. And paying more attention to, okay, I might be teetering on the edge of too much, but I have not lost any parts of my memory, and we've been on an all-inclusive resort vacation. We've been to 2 weddings. We've, you know, there's been lots of reasons.
Yeah,
we've
birthday parties.
Yeah, tons of celebrations. And so I'm feeling really good about that one. So I'm definitely going to keep that one going into the rest of the year.
I think you should. That'll be so exciting to hopefully see it mark 365 on those days. That'll just be so cool. I like that you also made it attainable for yourself, that like you knew that you weren't going to completely stop drinking. Like that wasn't the goal you wanted to have. And you knew that you weren't going to be able to just go and have 1 or 2 drinks. So I like that you made it a very attainable goal for yourself, and you've been doing so well.
Thank you. Yeah, I've just been learning more about my body, and I have, and it has been, I've just feel a lot better. So it's good. And yeah, like you said, I still am drinking. It's not that I've quit drinking. I just have been trying to be a lot more mindful with that consumption.
Yeah, I think that's very cool. I think my physical goal that I'm going to try so hard at this year is I need to wake up and stop snoozing the alarm. It's so bad. I really don't think I have probably, out of the 182 days or whatever that were in the year, I probably not snoozed my alarm like 11 times. And I can't even joke about that. It is so bad, and I really need to stop doing it, because on the 11 days where I don't snooze my alarm, I feel great. Like, I love getting up in the morning. I love feeling ready for work. I've been hearing this a lot lately just on TikTok of like, look like shit, feel like shit, act like shit.
Wait, what?
And yeah, it's saying like if you're not getting ready for the day, or you're just you're not wearing clothes that you feel good in. It's a very vain thing to hear probably, but unfortunately I'm in my vain era, so but I've been hearing that a lot, and I'm like, no, that's true, because when I do have time in the mornings to get ready for work and to put on my makeup and to make sure I'm wearing an outfit that I didn't just put together and didn't even see before I walked out the door. Like, I feel so much better. However, I hardly ever do that because I can't stop snoozing my alarm. Yeah. So that is my huge goal for this year, for the rest of the year, is it's not going to be attainable for me to not do it every day. Yeah. 2 to 3 times a week. I can do that. Yeah. I can do that. I can get out of bed on a Monday and a Friday. I can do that. Or a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Like, I can do that.
Yeah. So, I wonder if you could like pinpoint days where you have something in the evening that you want to look cute for or something like that. You know? Because Mondays you have volleyball in the evenings, you know, so you don't really care to look cute for that probably. No. But maybe you have something else. I don't know.
Yeah, like date night. An idea. If I was ready on Wednesdays already for date night, I didn't have to come home and waste an hour.
Yeah. What is the phrase again? Look like shit, feel like shit, act like shit?
Yes.
Okay. I do think that makes sense though. I feel like people talked about this a lot in COVID too, whenever people were doing remote work. Yeah. That when you actually get up in the morning and you get ready as though you're going somewhere. Yes. I mean, you are going somewhere. But as though you're going somewhere where you care about your presentation, you know, that you have a more productive mindset. And I definitely feel like that's true for the days that I work from home too.
Right? It's different for me too, because I do go into work every day, but it's such a relaxed office. I should have said this in my in the very first podcast episode where I was talking about coworkers. I work with 3 men who are like in their 30s and 40s and 50s. They don't give a crap what I look like. Yeah. And they're not even like hardly there. So for me, if I wanted to wear yoga pants and a t-shirt and some slippers, I totally could. Yeah. It would be fine. But those are the days where I'm like, look like shit, feel like shit, act like shit. Yeah. So I need to get it together. I want to start waking up.
You know what I'm going to tell you about your snoozing, right?
No, what?
I say this all the time, but you have to plug your phone in across the room.
Morgan, I do. It is in the bathroom. My phone is in the bathroom.
No, it isn't.
It is 100,000% in the bathroom. It has been in the bathroom since December.
And you get up and get it and snooze it and then lay back down? Yes. Do you bring the phone to the bed with you? What the hell?
I know. I'm a monster.
All right.
I know. I'll tell you.
That is so wild to me.
I know. It's so bad.
You're just a sleeper.
I'm such a sleeper. I'm so tired all the time.
Stop.
I'm so tired, baby. I can't do it.
Oh my gosh. Victim mindset.
Kidding.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
No, because I'm making a goal for myself and I'm going to keep to it.
Yeah, I like that physical goal. And then we are going into, so this is kind of an everyday goal, something day to day that could drastically improve your life if you just did one small thing each day. Yes. So maybe it's cleaning up after you get ready in the mornings. Maybe it's putting the dishes in the sink when you're done. Maybe it's watering the plants that are slowly dying in your house. We all have them. So I know you have been pretty active at one for a while. I'm impressed by this one. to be honest.
It's a very exciting one. And guys, it's helped my life so much. I do one load of laundry every single day. So it's not like doing a complete load. It is either putting clothes in the washer, moving clothes from the washer to the dryer, taking clothes out of the dryer, or literally folding my clothes. I do one of the 4 every day, and it just helps me stay on top of it because laundry piles up so much.
Yeah.
Everybody who listens to this is gonna know that. There's no way to not do laundry. I feel like every freaking day, and I don't know how. Guys, this is like a huge shout out to our parents on this podcast because I don't know how you guys do it. I have so much respect for you guys of how you can have more than just 2 people, because Mason and I, I literally can do a load of laundry every single day because we have so many clothes. And it's like we wear 100 outfits a day. I don't get it. So huge shout out to the parents who are doing multiple loads of laundry for multiple people.
Seriously.
It's amazing. But
well, and kids get dirty, man. Like
they
probably go through 4 outfits a day. I mean, they are nasty.
They are nasty. They are dirty. So huge shout out to you guys. But that has been my goal that I started at the beginning of the year because I felt like it was one thing that could help me just every day. It was one thing that could really limit my stress factor because I used to wait until Sundays to do all my laundry. And then I was doing laundry for hours. And I'd be like, oh my God, I just finished a load. Now I have to fold another one. Or I would wait until all the clothes were clean and then try to just fold them all at the same time. And it would literally take me like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just can't be doing this anymore. It's too much of a time waster. And then if you don't get it done on that Sunday, it's going into the week and you again have no time and no one has clean clothes. So that was my goal. And I have been doing really well at it. And I'm going to make sure I continue that throughout the year.
That's awesome. I love that idea. I just don't know if it's for me right now.
It's not a goal for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was kind of having a hard time thinking of something like this, but because I think that what I struggle with sometimes when setting goals is I'm looking to set one goal, but then I start thinking about all the things that I should be doing. Yes. And that is just a defeating mindset in it of itself. So I was really glad that I heard about this laundry a day goal, because I wouldn't say that I technically set this goal in stone at the beginning of the year, or maybe it's just been the last couple months, kind of like what you said. But we have been... I'm not really the cook in our family. Jared's more of the cook. And what I have been trying to do is that when we have dinner, that right after I'm done with dinner, I never want to do anything else because during the week especially, you're tired, you worked all day, you have other responsibilities in the evening, and you might have other events or things that you have to be at. But I've been trying really hard and been pretty consistent with it of just rinsing all the dishes in the dishwasher, or just putting the dishes in the sink in the dishwasher, and then cleaning up whatever dinner is. And I don't know why, but for me, something like cleaning a pan, because you have to hand wash that, not dishwash it, that takes a lot more effort than just putting a bowl in the dishwasher. Yeah. So I used to always leave those, and then in the morning I would go to make my breakfast or coffee or whatever it was, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a dirty kitchen. And there's nothing I hate worse than having a dirty kitchen. Yeah. So I have started this, and I've been pretty consistent with it, but I like that we're halfway through the year, because now I feel like I can acknowledge that that's something that I do want to do every day. Yeah. And maybe just pay a little bit more attention to it, and actually do it every single day, not just 4 times a week or so, because I do notice that it just makes a huge difference in my mood when I wake up.
Right? Or whenever you go to cook a breakfast and your pan's dirty because you used it at dinner. And you're like, oh my God, like, now my morning's done.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's like the worst thing ever, and it's just now the morning.
Immediate victim mindset.
Right.
Just kidding.
Go back and listen to our last podcast.
Just kidding.
True. I also want to say that if these goals feel too big for you, like doing a load of laundry every day or washing your dishes every night, that is totally okay. Maybe it is taking off your makeup every night. Maybe it is just cleaning off your desk workspace every day before you log off for the day. Like those little things that can make your days flow easier for yourself. Like, help yourself out. Do something for yourself the next day. And I think ours is to set ourselves up better, but maybe those are going to be too big for you and you need to do something a little bit different. Yeah. Totally okay.
Well, and sometimes I even just because I'm like, oh, this is the things that you begrudge or whatever. You're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Sometimes I even just time myself. And I'm like, how long realistically does this take?
Yes.
It is less than 2 Taylor Swift songs. One Taylor Swift song, if it's all too well, the 10-minute version. So yes. I can do it.
I love that you measure by Taylor Swift songs. That's hilarious. There was that one time in Chicago where I was complaining about my nighttime routine. I feel like it takes forever. And you're like, Bailey, I'm going to time you on it and like let you know how long it actually takes. And I was like, okay, like that'll be fun. It took me 8 minutes. I could have sworn to God that took 20. And so that was nice. So yeah, maybe timing is a great idea.
Yeah, I don't
Seeing
know.
how much it realistically takes. I love that.
Yeah.
Jumping into our next category is we are looking at a relationship goal. So I want you guys to think of a relationship in your life that you feel like could improve, or maybe just something that you want to change altogether. And this could be a romantic relationship. It could be a sibling relationship. It could be your neighbor. Like any relationship in your life. I want you guys to reflect on that one. What do you think yours is?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, I just noticed we spend quite a bit of time with family. Obviously, my sisters or our siblings and just our family in general. But I would say that the extended family that we don't spend as much time with is Jared's dad's side.
Oh, yes.
And we, at the beginning of the year, I was talking with Siggy, who is his dad's partner, and she was saying that she really wanted to get together, and that had been on my radar too. And so we kind of decided that we're going to shoot for quarterly, because even though it doesn't seem like monthly is that much, you know, it's only 12 times a year, it was kind of unrealistic for us and them, honestly, for our schedules to align that way. So we set quarterly, and so far we've met twice, and it's halfway through the year, so that's great. We've gone to breakfast 2 times.
Is that on schedule? Quarterly?
It's not on a schedule, but it's just kind of, we've reached out just whenever we've been like, it's been a little bit of time, you know?
Yeah.
Because we always see them on the holidays, like the major holidays. Right. But if we only see them on those holidays, honestly, it's like 4 to 6 times a year. It's not very much.
Right. And you always have to go to the other places too, so you only get like an hour, maybe 2 with them.
Exactly, yes.
And it's not intentional only with them.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, so we've gotten breakfast with Jared's dad and his partner twice this year, and we'll want to do it a couple more times the rest of the year. And like I said, at first it seems really small, but I feel like no goal is too small as long as you are being intentional about it, and it's something that is moving you just inch by inch closer to where you want to be. Yeah. Which we want to sustain a close relationship with them. For those that don't know, they actually live like 2 blocks away from us, so that makes it a little even more sad. But it is something that we've just reevaluated, and we've been like, wow, we kind of need to do that. Or honestly, I'm just like, we really like them. Why don't we ever see them?
Yeah. And you feel like that's a relationship in your life that you want to strengthen. I think that's really awesome. Like, you already know that you have a great relationship with them. But why not take it to the next level? Yeah. I love it. I would go along the same lines as you, and I really would like to see our grandparents more often. It's funny that you say you live like a block and a half or 2 blocks away from Ken and Siggy, because we live like 2 to 5 minutes, depending on if the train is coming through or not, from our grandparents. And I remember whenever we lived in Columbia and we moved back, and I was telling everybody, like, it's so exciting, we're moving back, we're gonna always, like, we're hanging out with people all the time, like, we are gonna be here forever. I remember Dad saying, like, yeah, well, you say that, but moving back makes it almost harder because you feel like it's so in reach, so you don't need to try to see them. Yeah. And I was like, a good point. No, you're wrong. But he was so right. Not once have I seen my grandparents besides right after our honeymoon. 2 years ago, basically. And, like, besides at, family gatherings and things like
individually.
that. Yeah, individually. Yeah. And I feel like this is a relationship in my life I really want to strengthen, because we are, like, Mason and I are huge travelers, and we always travel during, like, holiday times, I feel like, because that's when I have time off of work. And so it really does make it to where we don't see our grandparents that often anymore. And that's not something I regret. I wouldn't change our traveling because we love it, but I would just add in time to see my grandparents now. So that's something I really want to focus on. I almost want to, like, date them. So at the first episode we were talking about, like, date your friends. This episode I want to talk about date your grandparents. So I think I am going to try to do once a month.
I like that.
Kind of see how that goes. And the great things about goals are they are adjustable if needed. But right now, I think I'm really going to try to do a once a month goal with them. Just seeing them once a month.
And honestly, that once a month may be sustainable there because even though you and Mason have full-time jobs, Mama and Papa are retired. So
their schedule's open.
Yeah, that's not it. Honestly, with us, with Ken and Siggy has a very demanding job. So there's only 1 or 2 days a week that we could potentially see each other. And so obviously that limits us a little bit more, So
absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. So we've gone through physical goals, everyday goals, relationship goals. Now we want to go into a fun goal.
Yes.
So some kind of hobby maybe that you've been saying you're going to do, or something you've been saying you're going to buy yourself for years and years and never save for it. A movie you said you were going to watch, or just something that is fun.
And for you.
Yeah. Something that's fun that would add to your life, that would be a good goal to just make life a little bit more fun.
Yeah. My goal on that one is a pottery class.
Yeah.
I really want to do it. I think that this would be a hobby that I would absolutely love. And even if I don't make it into a full-time hobby for myself, I want to just try it once. I think it would be so fun. And so really, the only thing that's holding me back is I've just never done the research of where a pottery class is nearby.
Yeah.
That's all I need to do. And I want to do it so bad this year.
So, okay, let me ask real quick.
Yeah.
So is this something that you would do recurring, or you're just saying this is a fun hobby goal that I want to do by the end of the year?
By the end of the year.
Like at least once.
At least once by the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm setting
I like
up
that
goal for myself. Because honestly, at the beginning of the year, if I were to go back and look at my, like every year in a notebook, we write like our goals out. I honestly probably had this one on there.
Oh, wow.
And I never did it because I forgot about it. So now I'm like, no, I actually want to do this. It's totally for myself. And I just want to try it out one time.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
I like that. Yeah.
And then if I love it, maybe it turns into something I do often. But then I feel like at that point, it's not even a goal. It's just a hobby that I've incorporated into my life.
Definitely.
So I have a goal to try it out once.
I like that. I bet a lot of our listeners resonate with that.
Probably. I hope so.
Yeah, I think it would be a fun one.
Right.
I wanted to take this as an opportunity to pull up my Goodreads, because my big hobby that I've been into in the last year or two has been reading, obviously.
Yes.
And Goodreads is one of those apps. So I would encourage people, if there's something that you could easily have some kind of tool, like an app, to assist you with tracking these goals, please do it. Maybe look into it, see if that exists. But Goodreads does allow you to track where you are on your reading challenge or whatever.
Yes.
So you set a goal at the beginning of the year, and then it helps you track. So I have read 32 books this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but my goal was 75 books. So this is a good time for me to be like, okay, maybe I need to pick this up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I do mix. I do read maybe one audiobook a month. So I do mix and match. So maybe I haven't read an audiobook in a while. So maybe that's something that I look at July and I really focus on. But yeah, I want to be sure that I stay on track with that. It kind of sucks because I'm in the middle of a freaking 950 page book, so that really feels like it should be like 3 books, but
doesn't count.
But this is a good time for me to look at that, and instead of it slowly slipping without me seeing it, then now I have an idea of where I'm at. So
yeah, I think that's so cool. So that's one that you set up at the beginning of the year, and you're still going to crush it. Do you feel like you'll reach your 75?
I think that I will. I just have to be intentional. Like I said, it's good to check in halfway and be like, oh, okay, this is where I'm at. I need to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not read as many 950 page books.
I was going to say it is funny because you have read all of the Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass. Okay, and then there's another full series like that you read, Emerald something?
No, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Was that this year?
Last year.
So is this the biggest book series you've read this year so far?
Yeah, it's 8 books, and the first one is a normal amount. It's like 350 pages, and then they just go up from there. So the 2 before this 950 page book were both 750 pages.
Oh my god.
So
I feel like that's like 5 extra books. You're not behind. You're just reading a huge series.
Yeah. Well, and this goal's for me, right? You know, it's not I'm not going to be super upset if I get to the end of the year and I'm like, oh my God, I only read 73 books or whatever, because it's for my fun. It's for my fulfillment, my enjoyment. But it's just one of those things that I can keep track of. And I love a tracker.
Oh, absolutely. And you love reading. Earlier, I was going to say for a day-to-day goal, I knew that it wouldn't super apply to you because you are reading so much, but a day-to-day goal for other people could be like 10 pages a day.
Yeah.
Or like a chapter a night kind of thing. I feel like that's what I did when I very first got into reading. I was like, just a chapter a night and before bed, and then all of a sudden a chapter a night turns into like 5 chapters.
Yeah, like, absolutely. Yes.
The next one and the last category that we're going to look into is a lifestyle goal. So I want you guys to think about a trait that you've been saying to yourself that you kind of wish that you could embody. So maybe you look at other people and you're like, wow, I really wish I could be like that. Or you look at what someone else is doing in their life and you're like, wow, I really wish that I did that. I want you guys to kind of think about those. And it's not in an envious way, just in a goal where you're like, I could actually do that. So for me, mine is I want to become a more reliable person, which is funny because shout out to Morgan going into business with a not very reliable person, because even yesterday we were supposed to record and I said, wait, can we maybe record tomorrow? So I really need to – I think for myself, I would just like myself so much more. I think people think of me as a reliable person. Like, if there's a super important person in my life, I'm never not going to I'm never not going to be there for that person.
Yeah.
But I would like to kind of walk the talk. I'm a huge talker. I'm all about, like, when I'm with you, I genuinely do want to see you again. And I really do want to make these plans. So I'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, on Saturday, like, let's go do this and this and this. Or it's Monday morning and I'm thinking about goals for the week. And I'm like, let me text every single person who I want to see this week. Because at 9 a.m. on a Monday, I really do want to see you. Yeah. And then that time comes and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't get out of bed. I can't. Like, I'm such a homebody now.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it's out of the house. Like, it's already 6 o'clock. I'm tired. It's going to be late. But I need to start becoming a reliable person. So the ways I'm going to do that is I'm going to not overplan for myself.
Okay.
Which I have gotten better at.
Hard.
It is really hard. I have gotten so much better at it. I used to be a huge double booker where I would tell multiple people I could do something knowing it was on the same day and same night because I couldn't say no to somebody.
Yeah.
And I would feel awful. So I've already gotten better at that. But now I just need to actually make sure that I'm making plans for myself that are realistic. So I want to do that. And then I'm also going to stop, like, flaking in the way where when I'm making the plans, I'm going to know my boundaries. I'm going to know that doing something super early on a Saturday is probably not going to be for me. So I'm going to stop making those plans so that way I don't have to then flake on somebody.
Cancel, yeah.
Now, a lunch on a Saturday, I'm all for that. Honestly, guys, a late lunch on Saturday, I am all for that. And this ties back into my no snoozing. We're going to get better. We're going to get there.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's going to be something for myself because I look around at other people and I know that could be me if I just did small things for myself. So that's a big one that I'm going to really try to do for the rest of the year.
I feel that. Yeah, I would say, so kind of similar to what you were saying about just saying yes to everybody. I am definitely a recovering people pleaser. I struggle so hard with saying no. Now, I will say I don't double book myself, but that's just because I'm so
planned.
I'm unfortunately very rigid and working on that as well. But in my plans, I'm like, on the 16th at 10 a.m., we have this, you know? So I just like know, I just know my schedule and know that I'm not going to say yes to things that won't work, but then I'll try to, squeeze it in between these other 2 events that I have. And really, I just run myself ragged
Hearing your schedule sometimes exhausts me. I'm like, how can you do this? I can barely do 1 thing a day. How are you doing 8?
Yeah. So I think that at the beginning of the year, I really was hanging on to this phrase that I shared with you that was, I've heard a lot of podcasters share, but it's like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yes.
And that can't apply to everything, obviously, because you have responsibilities. Like, you can't be like, oh, well, feeding my kid isn't a hell yes today, so I'm just not going to.
Or going to work isn't a hell yes. Like, I used to have to go.
Yeah. But more so for the things that you do have a choice in.
Yeah.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a no, you know? And so I feel like at the beginning of the year, I was doing really well with this. But in January and February and even March, people are not making nearly as many plans. Everybody's inside. It's cold. There's not as much to do. And so I've realized that as the sun has come out and as people's plans have become more frequent, that I have not been living by this nearly as much. And I've not been honoring my, like you said, limits or boundaries. And I just have been a little bit running myself thin.
Yeah.
And this is a tendency that I have. I want to say I have a people-pleasing tendency. I'm not a people pleaser because I'm not going to I put that identity on myself because I'm still working on it. Yes. But I have this tendency, and so I definitely want to work on this, and I want to ask myself that question every time I agree to social plans, especially because I just find that I say yes a lot more often than I really can do. And that's another phraseology. I talk a lot about language in this podcast and just the language you're using with yourself, because when I tell someone, oh, I can't do that, that could just be because I need to go to the grocery store, or I can't do that because my week is already too busy. But if I'm looking at my calendar and I am technically quote unquote free, I feel like I'm lying if I say I can't do that.
Yeah.
But the truth is that at that point, if I see that every other day that week I have something going on and I need that time for myself, then I can't do that. That's not a lie. You know, that's the truth.
No,
so
absolutely not.
So I just want to be better about that. And I do want to share, this is a little bit girly, but I got the Flow app at the beginning of the year, which is a cycle tracker, and it's really insightful. And after having done it for 6 months now, it's very helpful with seeing what times of my cycle, because women are very much on a cycle, and so and our hormones really dictate how we feel.
Oh, well, absolutely.
For the majority of people or women. And so I've been noticing, at the beginning of the year I was doing a really good job of paying attention to what weeks in my cycle I tend to have more energy, because you can log that sort of thing. Like I was really energetic, or on the flip side, I felt really fatigued. And so because I love trackers and I was using that, and it was kind of showing me where my moods were best or where my energy was best, that sort of thing. I was trying to make plans for the following month. Like if I looked at a month where someone wanted to make, or I had several people wanting to make plans in my luteal phase week, I was not going to say yes to all of them.
I love that.
Yeah, because in your luteal phase, you tend to have less energy. It's estrogen and progesterone are decreasing, and so your hormones are really at this low level because they're getting ready for we don't have to go into it, but anyway.
If you want to know more, DMS, Morgan will tell you.
Yeah, I've just learned a lot about it, and so
that's so cool.
Yeah, but then I've just noticed that I've kind of I've gotten more lackadaisical on paying attention to that tracker in that cycle, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna assume that I have 100% energy every single week, and that's just not true.
No, not at all. Who knows what's gonna happen with your weeks? I love that you use the Flow app the way you do, because I only use it to literally track when I'm gonna get my period, and like when I'm ovulating, and like, you know, things like that. So it is such a good idea. I remember a couple months ago you were talking about how you use the Flow app and how you actually do track your like symptoms every day, basically, because it's kind of how Flow listed out, is like log your symptoms.
Yes.
And I started doing that too, and it really did calculate it better for me. Now, I don't use mine in the way that you do, but maybe I should, because then I can know how I'm actually going to be feeling and if I'm going to be flaky that week or not. And like, well, let me not plan something then. Like, I think that's a really cool idea.
I think it is. I mean, it is very insightful. I would definitely recommend it, but I will say that you get like a 2-week free trial, and then I think it's like $5 a month or something.
Yeah.
So just a heads up there.
Yes, definitely. It could be worth it though. If you are someone who likes trackers like Morgan does, it could be very worth it to you.
Yeah.
So kind of, how do we take all these goals and how do we put them into production?
Yeah, we've got 4 little tips, tricks, habits here that you can write down or follow. So speaking of trackers, you know I love trackers. Write these goals down somewhere you'll see them often. On a mirror. So like my blackout thing, I literally have on my mirror where I get ready every day. It says 100 and whatever days since blackout. And you could put a sticky note on your visor, like in your car. You could put it in your phone notes. And I do want to say that I was listening to the Marie Forleo podcast. She writes the book Everything is Figureoutable. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's really good. You should read it.
Maybe
But
I'm in my self-help era.
yeah, yes, it's really good. But she mentioned in her podcast the other day that people who write down their goals are 40% more likely to achieve them.
Really?
40%. That's such a small thing. Literally just writing it down. So yeah, I definitely recommend any way that you can track these goals, write them down somewhere that you would see it every day, or use an app that you would use every day, then do that. I know that you had something a little thing that you did.
Yeah, so mine, I've only just recently started doing this with May and June, so then I'll do it for this month as well in July. But I have actually made it my phone background. I've just like gone onto Canva, found a cute graphic, and then I've typed out my goals on this graphic and then set it as my phone background. Like, here, I want you to look at that. Isn't that cute?
Oh, it's so cute.
So
She's got little oranges.
Yeah, little tangerines. I usually go with kind of whatever vibe I'm feeling at the time. And then I just wrote out my goals. And so I see it on my phone every single day because I'm looking at my phone every day.
Yeah.
And then I'm able to see it and I'm able to kind of like get that trigger for the response kind of remembering to do it. So if you want a template for this, every month that I make one, I can just put it on her story. That way you can screenshot, add in your own goals real quick.
Yeah, we should make it like a highlight.
We should.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Fun.
Monthly intentions, monthly goals, whatever.
Yes. Even if it's you writing down your yearly ones, like that's okay too. Something that you're seeing it every day. So yes, write them out and put them somewhere that you're seeing them every day. Our step number 2 is going to be setting an alarm or making that calendar notification now. Do it right now. Like literally pause and do it. If you are just doing it now and you're setting it up one time, then you are done. So if you are setting up your alarm every day at 6 p.m. to say, hey, go move your laundry around, or at 5 p.m. when you're leaving work that says clear off desk, and you have it set, then you're one and done. It's so hard to rely on yourself. Let the small things that can already help you, let them help you.
Yeah, I really like that. We actually did that with when you shared how you guys do Sunday check-ins in our first episode, our Q and response episode.
Yeah.
We set up not every week, but we set up quarterly like partner check-ins kind of things. And we put it on the calendar and just made it a recurring event. And it'll hold us accountable, you know?
Yeah, it'll pop up one day and you're like, oh, wait, we have to do this. So you don't have to remember. I'm glad that you guys did
Yeah.
that.
And another way to hold accountable. So step number 3, or our third little tip, is tell somebody about your goals. Seriously, you are so much more likely to bail on yourself than you are to bail on someone else. So if you tell someone, then it'll help keep you accountable, and it might even inspire them to join you. So for example, you know that I am all about hydration, and I feel like something like 80 ounces of water would even be easy to check in with someone like halfway through the day, or even at the end of the workday or something, and text them. You know, if you said, hey, I really want to drink 80 ounces of water daily, would you be willing to
keep me accountable?
Check in with me on this in June. And then you could text each other at the end of the day and be like, how much are you at? You know, I'm at 40. Where are you? You know, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And like, oh, I need to catch up, you know? So it would be really good for, I think, especially physical goals.
Yes.
It is so important to have an accountability group or buddy or something. I feel like that's where kind of my routine, my physical health routine started.
Yeah, it kind of took off whenever you were holding yourself accountable with other people.
Boot camp, like online boot camps and accountability groups were everything for me. So, and then obviously the other categories of goals, we are holding ourselves accountable right now by telling you.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say it's almost like having this in writing, but ours is in recording. You guys will have to make sure we're staying on it.
Yeah. So share it with a friend, a partner, a loved one, anybody. Share it with us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, have somebody hold you accountable.
Definitely. Our fourth and final step is just making sure that the goals that you are setting are achievable for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do not set yourself up for failure, guys. That is when it's so easy to kind of quit. You quit on yourself and you justify it to yourself, but make it something that you know that you can achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think giving yourself grace for the fact that you can't maybe do the other things, because it's hard, like I said earlier, when you say something like, well, I could do that, but I just don't, then it feels defeating.
Yeah.
So just giving yourself grace for it's okay to say that you can't do that, and that you want to start small somewhere else.
Yes. In closing, we have kind of talked about this already, but keeping yourself accountable, we want to help you.
Yeah.
So we want to help you reach these goals. So if you can take that first step, it is sometimes the hardest one. Sometimes that's
Definitely.
the one that, it's just hard to do. Like with my pottery class, all I have to do is look it up. I just haven't.
Yeah.
So we are here to help you guys. Let us know how we can help you. Whether that is you want to join a workout class, but you don't know what's available. We'll literally find workout classes in your area for you.
Sure.
I will happily do that. I'll send you a screenshot.
We definitely want to help you, so let us know how we can. We would love to.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
Cheers!